guys, and welcome to another video with me, Des. So I know I promised this video a while ago, but I got wind of what my Christmas present would be, which is a new microphone so that I don't sound like I am underwater when I record these videos, so I decided to hold off on it for a little bit. But yeah, this video is basically going to be explaining some of the dynamics behind the Cryptic Carnival, getting into some of the characters' roles, how they function within the carnival, that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's get started. The first character we're talking about is Alistair Bones. He is basically the ringmaster of the circus. He is in charge of choosing locations, choosing acts, etc. Even though he's in charge of those things, he's assisted a lot by Carlton, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, he is he's kind of like the surrogate father to a lot of the Cryptic Carnival characters. He's not super involved though with their lives or with anything else. He is mainly focused on making money, traveling around, seeing as many places as possible, and making sure the circus succeeds and, you know, is just kind of better than every other circus. So then we have Carlton. Carlton is interesting because he's more of an assistant to a lot of different roles as opposed to being a performer himself. He is very, very tall, so that gets like some people coming in. Some people are interested in that, wanting to see like him and just kind of like the freak aspect of the circus, being like, oh my gosh, look at him, he's taller than a giraffe, ha ha ha. But Carlton doesn't really have an act of his own. He mostly is in charge of running the circus, making sure it runs smoothly, because even though the ringmaster, Alistair, is in charge technically, he's not very good at like running the place, so Carlton really takes over for him. Carlton also assists all the other performers with their acts, so he's most known for assisting Jackie with her knife throwing. And then we have Emerald. Emerald and Dia are basically the showstoppers of the circus. They are the two trapeze artist gals, and they're really what keep the general public coming back for more and keep people who haven't seen the circus yet like coming in. So they're really the money makers of the circus. They're definitely up top there in the showstoppers. Most of the advertising about the circus involves them, so yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, come see these cool, amazing flying trapeze girls. They're awesome and they could do all these cool stunts and whatnot. Emerald is very sweet. She's the more like compassionate, like mom of the group. She definitely her and Bonbon, who we'll talk about a little later, really make sure that everyone's okay in the circus. They're very compassionate and kind and sweet. But yeah, Emerald's all about making sure everyone is put before herself and there for people whenever they need her. And she's also really, really cool when it comes to like trapeze arts. She can do a lot of cool tricks. But yeah, her and Dia are definitely like the hook of the circus. Keep people coming back for more, keep people hungry, wanting more. Yep. And then of course there's Dia, who's more of a stern figure to the people of the circus. So she's definitely a voice of reason, but she mostly keeps to herself. She's not a very social person, but she does love Emerald a lot, because Emerald and her are sisters, actually, like actual biological sisters. So they've grown up together, and they have a very strong compassion for each other. They love each other a lot. But she is more reserved than Emerald is. She definitely spends a lot more time in her own little tent and her caravan, as opposed to being out with the other members of the circus. That doesn't mean she doesn't like them. She does. She just has a different way of like expressing her emotions, expressing how and why she likes the people of the circus. But yeah, They're both some of my favorite characters, and they're definitely very important to the circus dynamic. Setup. And then we have Louise. She is the newest member of the circus. So, in the like timeline that I have, as our story starts, as I start to tell our story, Louise is introduced as kind of a way to introduce all the other members of the circus. She comes in for the first time and gets to meet everyone, and then by meeting everyone else, the audience also gets to meet the rest of the circus. But originally she is looking for like what her like fitting in the circus would be, and so she stumbles upon the idea of being like the feral wolf child, and getting like plastic fangs and pretending to be like a wolf. And she's a secondary performer in the circus, which means that no one really comes to see her specifically, but they do get a lot of entertainment out of her. So they definitely stop by and are like, oh my gosh, look at this like wolf child. But yeah, and then she is little. She's like 12 years old, I think, in the canon. But yeah, so she's definitely important to the circus. And since she's a newer member, it's a great way to introduce people and introduce things in there. Yeah. And then we have Jackie. Jackie is a what we call hook performer. So, even though she's not like the showstopper like Emerald and Dia are, she definitely keeps people coming in. So like, because she throws knives around and there's like hitting targets and is sometimes making people in the audience play along with her, she definitely gets a lot of attention from the crowds and just from people who are interested in what she's doing. But Jackie is the main character of the Cryptic Carnival series. She has a ginormous role in the story, and is kind of basically what's keeping the story moving along. But yeah, so she's a hook performer. Her methods of performing are very sporadic and very impulsive. So Carlton really hates working with her because they'll plan something, he'll help her plan something, and then within like the next 30 seconds she'll be like, wait, no, what if like we do this instead? What if I like just do this? What if I throw a bunch of knives out into the audience? And he's like, no, I don't think we want some lawsuits on our hands. But yeah, Carlton and Jackie are like siblings. They kind of adopted each other as siblings. They often refer to each other as brother and sister, and they really love each other a lot, but sometimes they don't get along because of how opposite their personalities are. Jackie is very impulsive and goes off a whim, and sometimes just makes split-minute decisions without like thinking them through, whereas Carlton likes to sit down and think about things, think about options, think about what the best option could be, and doesn't really like taking risks that could get people hurt. He's a very like matter of fact, let's not take any risks, let's take the easiest, not necessarily the easiest, but the safest way out, the way that'll get everyone like out safely, nobody has to worry about being hurt, that sort of thing. So he's really, he's really into that, into making sure that everyone is safe and sound and secure, and that people are just living their best lives in the circus. Although sometimes Jackie can be somewhat of a disruptor to that. A little bit more about Jack. She is plagued by what we call the strange man in the series, who actually I didn't draw on this chart, but he is the main antagonist for the series, and he is somewhat of a mysterious demonic entity that seems to have some sort of I guess like interest in Jackie and what she's doing. So I guess that'll be revealed more as the series goes on. But yeah, that's definitely something that like makes up a big part of the Cryptic Carnival, is Jackie's dealings with the strange man, and why is he there, what is he doing, what is his goal. Yeah, And then moving on to the next character we have is Weepy. So Weepy is also one of the hook performers of the circus. And the reason that Weepy is a hook performer and not a secondary performer is because he and Bon Bon can also do magic tricks. And their stunts are a little bit more than just like walking around and falling and making people laugh. They could do lots of like cool juggling things that people are pretty interested in but don't expect clowns to do. So they're not really a showstopper. They don't draw people in as much, but they do keep people coming because of how unique, how fun their little performances are. So they're kind of a jack of all trades, both him and Bon Bon. But their main focus is being the clowns of the circus. So they're definitely like worried more about making people laugh, making people feel happy, and just kind of like goofy with them, like running around doing funny things. But they also like doing magic tricks. They like performing in that way and doing like the juggling tricks, all that fun stuff. Yeah, he and Bon Bon are actually a married couple. They were married, I think, about like 2 years before the current timeline. So they they love each other a lot, and I think it's fun to kind of play with the idea that they're like kind of the opposites attract. I think the Cryptic Carnival is full of really, really stark opposites, and so it's really cool to play with those differences. That's something I really like to do. So Weeby is definitely a heavy opposite to Bon Bon, who is more of a upbeat, positive kind of let's get things done influence within the carnival. So she's definitely more of the happy-go-lucky, things are great, we just gotta look on the bright side, whereas Weepy is more of that kind of like, what's the point, like this stuff sucks, yada yada yada, that kind of thing. But Bon Bon is also one of the hook performers, and she is really a performer at heart. So she also likes to do like, if she could, she would definitely do more acting, more like being on stage, acting out Shakespeare. She loves Shakespeare, that sort of thing. But she is happy to perform as a clown any day. She loves Weepy so much. They're just a really fun dynamic to have around because of, even though they are opposites and they kind of see things in a different way, they love each other a lot, and seeing that love and how happy they are with each other just makes me happy too. It's like, ooh, fun. I know I'm making you do the things that you're doing, but it's fun to see how you influence each other and how dynamic you can be. But yeah, that's the clowns. So the clowns are hook performers, and then we have some secondary characters that I'm going to talk about like just a little bit. These are people who I haven't revealed a lot about yet, and I'm probably going to keep it that way. So we have Zeke, who is a newer character within the series. He's someone who shows up within like the first half of the story that I have, and he's kind of a contentious character who is trying to help the circus out, but is getting a lot of pushback from some of the other characters. So Carlton absolutely despises him, hates him for no apparent reason. He just thinks he's like shady and weird and doesn't really like being around him. And then Jackie, although she doesn't really like him a lot, is more curious about what exactly his intentions are with the circus and why he is doing the things that he is doing, why everything is kind of like falling into place at his feet, and why he's making the changes in the circus that he is making. So Jackie's very curious about him, and actually a lot of the other circus performers do like him. He does become a performer in the circus as well. He does some like pyro stuff, so like fire breathing, that kind of thing, and it's also a big source of contention at the carnival, but I guess we can get into that a little bit later. Yeah. And then we have Madame Miriam herself. She is the subject of a lot of my reels on Instagram. If you follow those, you've seen her before. She is the fortune teller. She's actually not a part of the circus. She never joins the circus. She has her own little fortune telling business within one of the big cities that is like passed by the caravan at one point. She is a huge part of the story, but oddly enough, she doesn't really show up until like the last half of the story. She is a fortune teller. However, in this world, fortune tellers are a little bit different. She can't see the future. She can only see the past, and then she makes like I guess calculations of what the future may be based on the things she's seen in the past. So she kind of like is more of a mathematician than than an actual fortune teller. She tells the odds, not really what's actually going to happen. But being able to see the past is really useful too. She has had a couple run-ins with the strange man, not personally, but in some of the visions that she's had. So she's definitely interested when Jackie shows up and brings her experience with the strange man and kind of adds her experience, and then that part of the story further develops, and Miriam can kind of piece together some of the parts of the past and some of the backstories of the different characters to figure out what exactly is going on within the story of the strange man and within the Cryptic Carnival characters. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you have kind of like a little bit of a hunger for learning more about the Cryptic Carnival series. And then you guys can totally, on my Instagram, check out all the other reels and all the other lore stuff that I have on there, and ask any questions. I might not answer them like with the answers you want, but I will try to get back to you. So thanks. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day. Bye.